and welcome to another edition of One Bad Veggies Root Beer Review, where in this review we find out if this root beer is created with true German precision. So this review is going to be for Sodabeers root beer, obviously, and they are actually a Colorado-based company, but one of their kind of like things that they tout is that they use a technique called Fassbrause, which is like a German technique of basically kind of like keg aging their brews. They're famous because originally their first drink that they ever did was called apple beer, which is literally what it is. It's apple. Like I'll just define their method. Says that it's prepared using fruits and spices stored in wooden kegs. When it is served like a beer with a thick foamy head, but without any alcohol. So that's the technique that they use to create the apple beer, which then, assumedly, they then use also to do any of their other multitude of drinks, which they also do a couple other different kinds of apple beer. They do ginger beer and, of course, root beer. So, yeah, like I've never had this one before. It's a new one. So let's go ahead and get into the ingredients. All right, let's go ahead and get into the ingredients, which should be appearing right there. And as you can see with this one, a lot of the normal stuff, natural and artificial flavors, pure cane sugar, we like that. Something new that I've never seen before is the calcium lactate. So I did a little research, of course, and calcium lactate is apparently an additive that people add to foods, drinks, whatever, that gives it a certain texture. It's actually dairy-free. I thought maybe it would be something like some sort of milk substance or something, but it's actually dairy-free and it's vegan. But yeah, I guess it's mostly there just to kind of give something a specific texture that, the person making the food is looking for. Thought that was kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bottle. So, right there, pretty simple bottle, nothing special. If you go and look up the Sodabeers company and everything, all of them are kind of like this. They all use the same fonts. They all have different colors, and obviously the picture there is going to be different. Of course, the first thing that I notice is the fact that it says creamy vanilla on it. Creamy vanilla, alcohol-free, gluten-free, pure cane sugar, family-owned. So, I mean, just from the description, it's pretty exciting to me. But, not a whole lot more to say other than that. Like root beers tend to have a lot of similar ingredients. So let's just go ahead and crack this one open and get ourselves some of the scent. All right, let's go ahead and open her up and see how it smells. Okay, kind of cracked open a little bit there. Let's see where I can rip that off. All right. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, no. Immediately, at first I was like, oh, I don't really smell a lot of vanilla in there. And then all of a sudden it just kind of hits you. And it's a lot of vanilla. And I'm okay with that. I don't want to say it's overwhelming or anything, because I've definitely had some that I've opened up and it almost is like a vanilla air freshener level of vanilla, and that's not necessarily good. And a lot of times those ones, even despite my obvious love of vanilla flavor in root beer, those sometimes can be a little overpowering and maybe a little too sweet. So this doesn't have that. It's definitely, sometimes these root beers say vanilla on them. Sometimes they say it inside of the stuff and it's not really apparent even when you drink it. In this case, I would say it's very apparent and exciting. So let's go ahead and get into the pour and the foam. So here we are with our ever-present friend, the trusty mug. Let's go ahead and pour this and see how it looks. on the website, it claims that it's trying to have a frothy. Let's look at that again real quick. That's a long-lasting froth right there. That's pretty good. That's a good foam. Let's go ahead and get a taste. Ooh, that's very vanilla-y. That's interesting. That's interesting. Now, I've said before, let me put this down. A good foam usually has the undertone of flavors, the thing that you have in the background after you've taken a drink of it, is usually, if you have a good foam, that's usually what you're getting. You're getting kind of like the aftertaste and everything, which if this has got a strong vanilla flavor as an aftertaste, good. But no, what I was saying before I took the drink of the foam and everything, it does claim on the website that part of the process of making it the way that they do using the Frost-Brause method is that it should create a nice foamy drink. And this definitely did that. Not overflowing, not ridiculous. I'm looking at it now still. The head on this is still there. So it's not super tall, but it's very attractive and long lasting. So that's cool. That's cool. Good job, Sodabeers, living up to what you say. So let's go ahead and get into the taste test. All right, thumbs up. This one's both interesting and also kind of normal at the same time. It's hard to explain. So it has the classic kind of herbal rooty flavors that you expect from kind of like root beers that tout that they're making it in the old-fashioned method, right? Because they tend to have a different sort of flavor that kind of more points to the sarsaparilla roots of root beer than say kind of like maybe a more modern flavor or something like that. They end up being a little bit sweeter, a little bit like I said, herbal in a sense. The vanilla in this is really interesting. Like I said, you can taste it in the foam. You can taste it. You can smell it when you open it. There's a vanilla scent to the root beer. The vanilla itself, though, mixes in with the natural flavors of the root beer. And they're, how do I put it? It's almost as if it's not a flavor that's... It's there, you can taste it, but it's almost like enveloping the rest of the flavors, right? Almost like it's just a well kind of rounded flavor. But it's not exactly blowing my mind, you know what I mean? Like it's not, for how much of the vanilla flavor was kind of like there out front of the root beer, and how it's even listed on the label as being creamy vanilla. And I'm not saying you don't taste it. It is a lot more balanced into the rest of the flavors than you would expect for something that touts its creamy vanilla-ness. And also, just as a point of reference too, talking about how it had the calcium lactate in it that would give it a certain texture. I didn't really notice anything unique about the texture of this one, so that was kind of interesting. I didn't know what to expect, but I guess I didn't expect really nothing. You know, if the idea was to make it taste or make it feel a little bit creamier than it like a smoother root beer or something like that, perhaps. I don't think it was super smooth. It did have a bite to it, and I think it was a good bite. So it's not even like a negative thing that it wasn't like the creamiest root beer that I ever had. But yeah, it's good. I mean, if you're taking anything away from what I'm saying right now, take away that it's good. It's a good root beer. But let's go ahead and get into the letter grade. So I really feel like this one has a lot of things going for it. I think it has, you know, a complexity to it that you don't necessarily see a whole lot with root beers. Usually you kind of get the same kind of 3 or 4 different flavors, just kind of balanced in different ways. And then sometimes you have stuff that's overly complex that ends up kind of ruining the flavor, making it taste less like a root beer, even less like a sarsaparilla, more like a cola, you know, things like that. In this case, I think this is a very well-rounded herbal style root beer, classic style root beer, even I would say. You know, there's a little bit of kind of that almost fruitiness to it, but like I said, it's the herbal flavors, but it's surrounded by the vanilla, but it's balanced in a way that doesn't particularly make any flavor more enhanced than any of the others, which I think that I think it's fair to give this one a C because it's so well-rounded. It's not necessarily doing anything that's going to make you like, whoa, this is the best root beer that I've ever had, but it's just like straight up like super good. It's but it's not, there's nothing exceptional about it, right? It's just very good. And you know, that's fine. That's fine. You know, in this grading scale, being a C is not bad. It just means that you are a good root beer. So yeah, C. I will say, and maybe it was probably noticeable during the review and stuff, I will say this root beer makes me very belchy. Sometimes root beers don't, and sometimes root beers do. This one, in this case, is making me burp a lot, which I don't know. I don't have a grading scale for that. So anyway, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to comment. But if you don't do any of those things, that's fine. I just hope you enjoy the reviews. Other than that, I hope you had a good time.